Hello, we're Group Echo, and we implemented distributed microcontracts for IDI. Now, what does this mean? IDI is an NGO which works in Uganda. It takes large donations from various donors and uses that to support smaller companies within in Uganda to provide aid. IDI has contracts with each of these smaller companies, and they can have a set of smaller companies beneath them. Each of these companies in this whole stack can also create invoices and various paper trails that record the full set of expenses that have gone with attached to IDI's money, which leaves a lot of contracts and a lot of information. But what's the real problem is that Uganda doesn't have the best infrastructure. So IDI has resorted to sending out a team of highly trained professionals into the most remote areas of Uganda and collect and aggregate all of this information, check its validity, and return it to IDI centers. The reason that they're so concerned about this is because the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act means that if they do not have full transparency on where their money is going, they are entirely liable if any of it's used for corruption. So our goal was to reduce the audit expenses of IDI in a way that was transparent and traceable for users, but didn't add any extra complexities to the people who are in the field creating the paper documents and trails. So for them, we created an Android app, and for IDI, we have a centralized set of databases which are completely open source and quite easy to maintain. To do this, we had to create a concept of a contract. Now, a contract you can't really store inside of a digital medium very well. You can only store certain amounts of the parameters in the formal way, and the rest of it has to be left to human agreement. So here's a very simple contract life cycle, which is presented to the users and to you. Inside the database, it is a little bit more complicated. So the metadata which is collected, which is like dates and values, are stored within Neo4j. We leave this completely exposed to IDI because they have a set of trained professionals who can go through this. It's really, really pretty and it's easy to work with. The center is IDI here, and each of these around there are their subcontracts and those subcontracts, and here's an agreement that's taken place, and here's some values that have been bought and spent. You don't really need to get into these details, as for IDI themselves. Everything, all the larger documents that are uploaded are stored in MongoDB. Now, the reason this is important is because the connectivity issue in various areas in Uganda is very low, which means that the metadata can be transmitted over low connectivity networks, and the larger files can be transmitted over higher networks later on in the date. These are timestamped and they are fingerprinted, so we know that they were that those contracts did exist at a particular time. Lastly, on the back-end side, the server is entirely idempotent, which means that any request can be replayed and the server will respond in the same way, which means that we can have many, many requests from various clients, like far out. And if our server goes down and misses a few requests, they can be replayed by the clients later. So I will leave it to Powell to talk about the front end.
So the front end was first built, prototyped in Adobe XD. We were able to show the prototype to the client and iterate on it. Then we built an app. So let's go through how it works. So let's say IDI is creating a contract and it's sending it to a nursing company. All they have to do is to fill in the fields, the receiver, and they can upload any file as the contract document that is, and together with the fields, it's like a legal binding document. Then the nursing company can view the notification that the new contract is incoming, and they can view the file. They can decide to accept or decline the request. And when the request is accepted, the contract goes to an open state, and they can decide to do several actions right there, cancel the contract, amend it, create subcontracts out of them, or upload any supporting invoices or documents, which is important because all the invoices are at one single place. We used several libraries to support this, parse for secure sign-up for users, which is important, and dbflow to map databases from objects into the database, and retrofit for interfacing with the server. And last but not least, it was really important to make this modular and deployable anywhere for any company that needs the same kind of products. So all of the server can be created and initialized with one command with Docker. So that's our product. Thank you for your attention.
Sorry. That way we save them some money in auditing, and they can send that on saving more lives in Uganda. So, okay.